Imagine yourself living in a time of rebellion, hiding from a powerful enemy. Where would you go? Well, for some Jewish residents of Galilee nearly 2,000 years ago, the answer was right beneath their feet. Israeli archaeologists just unearthed a massive hidden complex, a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers built during a dramatic period in Jewish history. But who exactly used this secret hideout? And what can it tell us about their fight for survival? In this video, we're exploring the newly discovered hiding complex in the Galilee. Join us as we delve into the history, the design, and the fascinating story of those who sought refuge within its walls. In the year 132 CE, a remarkable act of defiance unfolded as the Jews of Judea rose against the Roman rulers in a bold revolt. Spearheaded by the Jewish insurgent Simon Bar Kokhba, this rebellion marked the culmination of the third and ultimate conflict between the Jewish community and the Roman Empire. Now, one might wonder, where exactly did this rebellion transpire? Delving into historical accounts, extensive narratives detail the events leading up to the uprising, the provocations by the Roman authorities, and the responses of the Jewish populace, all within the context of the Roman province of Judea. Interestingly, there is no mention of the Galilee region in these historical records. However, on Monday, the Israel Antiquities Authority unveiled yet another concealed complex located in the Galilee, precisely at the Huqoq site. This newfound complex, while hidden underground like many others, stands out as relatively impressive, hinting at a potentially significant untold story. Interestingly, Professor Yinon Shiftiel from Zevat Academic College, who has dedicated years to studying ancient hiding places across Israel and the Galilee, shares a fascinating detail. He reveals that the complex was discovered about 50 years ago by a member of Kibbutz Huqoq. However, it is only now that the excavation of the Huqoq complex is being meticulously conducted, revealing unexpected surprises to the archaeologists. Notably, the scale of the complex far exceeds their initial expectations. Today, archaeologists have identified numerous caves and caverns, comprising both natural formations and man-made structures carved into the bedrock. Among them are shelters tucked into cliff faces, serving as a refuge for Jews seeking sanctuary from the Roman legions. Professor Shiftiel, speaking briefly by the phone with Haaretz as it temporarily emerges from the depths of the underground complex at Huqoq near the Sea of Galilee, explains that these shelters functioned as community hideouts while battles raged outside. He further explains that rebels sometimes initiated assaults on the Romans from covert hideouts within Judea. Surprisingly, a staggering total of 83 hiding complexes have been uncovered in the Galilee, extending beyond the confines of Judea. These discoveries predominantly align with the time frame of the First Jewish-Roman War, also known as the Great Revolt, culminating in the Jewish defeat in 70 CE. This dating is corroborated through comparative analysis with more firmly dated hiding spots in Judea. According to Shiftiel, 16 of the hidden structures found in the Galilee are believed to have ties to the Bar Kokhba rebellion. Among these, the underground complex at Huqoq stands out as particularly remarkable, boasting a network of tunnels linking 8 chambers beneath the surface residences. It's truly remarkable, Shiftiel affirms. This complex represents the most extensive hiding facility unearthed in the Galilee thus far. Huqoq, once a Jewish settlement during the early Roman era, continued to thrive following the failed uprisings. References to the city scholars Pinhas and Hezekiah can be found in the Jerusalem and Babylonian Talmuds from the 3rd and 4th century CE. Despite the expulsion of Jews from Jerusalem by the Romans, Huqoq persisted as a center of Jewish learning and culture in the Galilee region. The dating of the recently excavated complex relies on pottery discoveries. Among other artifacts, Shiftiel explains, In addition to the pottery, archaeologists uncovered a charming ring and a knife that bear characteristics of the same era at the Hucock site. However, if there's anything the evidence suggests strongly, it's meticulous planning and a sense of terror. According to Shiftiel and his co-director at the Excavation, Uri Berger of the Israel Antiquities Authority, the complex began with a mikveh and public bath that dated back to the Second Temple period. Yes, indeed. There was a well-maintained mikveh featuring stairways leading downward and bell-shaped water cisterns characteristic of that era. It served as the community water facility during the Second Temple period, Shiftiel explains. But anticipating the imminent conflict and expecting a harsh response from the Romans, it appears that the residents of Hucock prioritized survival over adherence to religious rituals. Either they or supporters of Bar Kokhba repurposed the mikveh and cisterns into an expansive hiding spot, carving out tunnels and chambers within the bedrock as described by Berger. Situated approximately 5 meters beneath the ground, access to the complex was concealed through the former mikveh. Berger elaborates, stating that the communal water system underwent repurposing. He continues by mentioning that the chambers were adjusted to support extended periods of habitation. Lamps, cooking utensils, and various other provisions were brought down to the chambers. Throughout the excavation process, a multitude of pottery and glass fragments were unearthed, totally hundreds in number. Moreover, the tunnels were deliberately constructed with 90-degree angles along their length, presumably to impede the progress of heavily armed Roman soldiers, the team notes. Shiftiel emphasizes the need for caution and conservatism when interpreting these findings. While the discovery of the complex at Hucock suggests that the residents may have anticipated the possibility of Roman invasion and took measures to prepare for it, it does not definitely prove that the Jewish-Roman conflict extended into the Galilee from Judea. Based on his extensive research into hiding places across Roman Judea and the Galilee, Shiftiel speculates that the war likely spread beyond its initial epicenter. The mounting evidence supports this notion. As Uri Berger pointed out, they opted to repurpose the water storage and mikveh. Their level of concern was such that they prioritized the creation of mamadim, shelters, Shiftiel explains. So, what does the evidence reveal? While it doesn't conclusively prove that the Galilee was directly involved in the conflict between Judea's Jews and the Romans, it does indicate significant preparations for such an eventuality. Hucock represents just one of at least 16 hiding complexes scattered across the Galilee, most, if not all, of which saw extensive use during the Great Revolt of 64, as demonstrated by Shiftiel and his colleagues. These hiding places would prove essential once again during the final rebellion against Rome. Recently, archaeologists discovered a rare coin dating back to the Bar Kokhba revolt, which had seemingly emerged from a cave in the Judean desert where other rebels had sought refuge. The coin was notable for bearing the name Eleazar the priest and the date 132 CE, along with the optimistic inscription, Year 1 of the Redemption of Israel. However, regardless of whether the Jewish Galileans actively engaged in combat against Rome, the Bar Kokhba revolt ended tragically. Roman forces brutally crushed the rebellion, effectively marking the end of Jewish resistance against Rome. Berger expressed gratitude for the hundreds of volunteers who participated in the excavation efforts, including local children, families, soldiers, and students. The site will be open for visitors on Friday, March 29 and Friday, April 5. Alright, history buffs, that's all for our exploration of the incredible hidden complex in the Galilee. This discovery sheds new light on a fascinating period. And who knows what other secrets might be buried beneath the sands of time. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like this video, click the next one shown on the screen. I'm sure you'll love it. Thanks for watching.